Well, let's face it, you're going to go ape over this review, and I'm not monkeying around.
I am a real American, fight for the rights of every man. I am a real American, fight for what's right, fight for your life.
Now, Apeface was the second of two Horrorcons released in 1987, the first being Snapdragon, who was my previous video review. Now, the Horrorcons were triple changing headmasters, headmaster robots that had a vehicle form, a beast form, and a robot form. So it was a gimmick on top of a gimmick on top of a gimmick, and it worked out fairly well. Now, in the Generation 1 cartoon, Apeface was a background character not featured very prominently, but thanks to him uttering one line, we learned a little bit about Transformers anatomy.
Yuck, noble Autobots make me wanna puke.
Yes, apparently, Transformers can puke. Now, in the Marvel Comics series, it was pretty much the same way. Apeface, once again, was a background character. His only memorable action was during the Decepticon Civil War, when him and Rampage got into it. Rampage bit his arm off, then Apeface grabbed his severed arm and proceeded to beat Rampage with it. So that was pretty cool. Now, enough with the history of Apeface. Let's get into the video review. Now, the first thing we're going to take a look at is Apeface's headmaster partner, Spasma. He's not a bad-looking headmaster. He looks a little bit different than the others, such as Lord Zarek here, but he's the same size. He's just shaped different due to the fact he's not only one head, but two. Now, taking a look at the bot a little closer, he's got good articulation. He can move his legs up and down into a sitting position just like the other headmasters, and the arms can go up and down, but with those rectangle arms laying flush against that back plate, I don't like to move those arms too much for risk of snapping the pegs on the inside. He does have some fairly decent sculpted details on him, but he is in desperate need of some paint applications. Folding him over into beast mode head or gorilla head, it's the same problem. He's got a nice sculpt, but needs paint, especially there in the teeth. I mean, either the teeth could have been painted silver or the space in between the teeth could have been painted black to make that look so much better. I do like the red visor though. Turning him around to robot mode, that's a nice looking face sculpt. Good details, vents there on the side, but the eyes could have used some paint. So anyway, that is Spasma, the headmaster. Now, go ahead and position him in a sitting position, open the canopy, and we'll place him in the jet. Now, taking a closer look at jet mode, I really like this jet. Though it looks more like a spaceship or a starfighter opposed to a jet, it's still pretty cool looking. Except when you turn it around on the back, you've got robot arms just hanging there. Now, some people I've seen position these sections up like this to make it look like thrusters, but I like the looks of those hanging straight back. The jet's got some good molded details on it, as far as some vents, the sticker details, and I just think that really looks good from the front, as I said. He also only has one rifle that fits in on one side. Definitely would have benefited from having a second one like Snapdragon. Now, let's get him transformed into ape mode. First thing you want to do is remove Spasma from the cockpit. Remove the gun. And remove the tail fins, which pop right off the back. Then you're going to take the wings and fold them over so they lie flat against his back. you want to make sure and fold them over in the correct order, or they're not going to fit. So once that's done, fold the nose cone over, and then bring this whole section up and over. Now what you're going to do is flip him over on the back, flip these purple sections out, which actually form the gorilla feet, and you can angle the legs however. Unfortunately, the robot arms are still very visible in this mode, so you just want to angle those back slightly. You're going to pull out the gorilla arms from the backpack, like so. And let's get him in a standing position here. There we go. Now you're going to take Spasma, fold him into gorilla head, and he will actually slot in this little section right here. Just like so. And there we have Apeface in gorilla mode. Very, very top heavy. You got to get him angled just right. Yeah, that's a gorilla mode. It's a very use your imagination gorilla mode. He's got the long gorilla arms on really nice tight ratchets. The hands are more or less hooks, but have a good range of motion. Elbows, well, half elbows. You can kind of bend up and down all the way like so. The legs can go straight up. We have him in that position, which he can actually hold fairly well. You can also pose him on all fours like a gorilla, but unfortunately he has no head articulation, so he can't look up. He's always looking down at the ground. Now gorilla mode, it's got a lot of problems. One, I think the head is way too far back. If they could have figured a way to incorporate putting the head right here, that would have worked out so much better than having it all the way back there on the back. This portion does not peg in, so it kind of flops in place. The arms, I mean, this whole section should be forward just a little bit. But it is what it is. It's a nice 80s toy. It's decent. It's okay. I despise the robot fists on the back. There's really nowhere to put them out of the way. You just have to deal with it. So anyway, there is Apeface in gorilla mode. Now let's get him transformed into robot mode. Let's go ahead and remove Spasma. You're going to fold the robot arms back up into place. Fold the hooks in first. Fold those in together. The robot feet, you're going to fold these flat against the legs. Take the chest section of the gorilla and extend these out, which form the robot legs. You're going to rotate this whole section down, forming the chest. Extend the arms down. Bring the robot arms up flush against the backpack. We're going to take Spasma, just turn him around to robot head mode. Pop him in place there. Insert the rifle into one fist, and the tail fins will actually become a shield, which will peg right here. And there we have Apeface in robot mode. Now here's how I like to transform him. I will take these sections here, rotate up and around, bend those forward. You see the vents, have the vents facing forward. Put the arms down. Just like so. And I actually think he looks better like that. He is a bruiser of a figure. He's got nice details. Oops, I forgot to showcase this. There's your Headmaster tech spec reader. Pop that in, pop the heads in. Speed, about midway. Strength, off the charts. And intelligence, he could use some smarts. But there we go. Apeface in robot mode. His biggest problem is you turn him around, he's got a fanny pack that'll make the 90s jealous. I mean, there's nothing you can do with that. Fortunately, mine's good and tight. You'll see a lot of these that flop around. As you can see, mine's got some good spring to it. And there is a way to fix that I'm going to go over for you for those of you that have one with a loose backpack. But there you have Apeface in robot mode. Now, if you happen to have an Apeface with a very floppy backpack, there's a very easy fix to do this. What you want to do is take your figure, flip him around, and see these 3 screws? You want to remove this section. Once that section pops off, there's this bar right here, this rod. You want to punch that out, removing the canopy, and it's this pink section right here, that holds this backpack on. All you have to do is, once you get inside there, is tighten up a couple screws and he's good to go. That's all I did for mine, and as you saw in the review, that backpack is perfect now. If you look in the description of the video, I'll put a link to the site where I saw how to fix this that goes over that in a little bit more detail. But there you go, guys. That is Transformers 1987 Generation 1 Apeface. Now, do I recommend a Generation 1 Apeface for your collection? You know, only if you're a completionist, only if you want all the Decepticon Headmasters, or if you have one Horrorcon, you might as well get the others. But he's neat, but he's a kibbly mess, and not to mention, he's going to be fairly expensive to find 100% complete and unbroken. Another thing, if you can't find him 100% complete, some of his parts are very expensive. The shield here can usually go for anywhere from 30 to 40 bucks, and his rifle is very expensive as well. And the reason that is, he only comes with the one gun. A lot of people like to pose him with 2, like Snapdragon has. But if you want to get him, he is a cool figure. He's neat, looks good on your shelf, but I wouldn't worry too hard about getting one if you're not, like I said, a completionist. Now, on to other big news. I finally reached 400 subscribers. I mean, I've been doing this less than a year, 8 months exactly, and I've already hit 400, so I'm quite impressed. And as my way to say thank you to you guys, I'm going to do a raffle for a $15 Amazon gift card to you. And all you have to do is comment on this video. You have to comment, like, and be a subscriber. And in my next video, I'll use commentpicker.com to select a comment from this video, and that comment will be the winner of the gift card. So once again, you have to be a subscriber and you have to comment on this video. Now don't forget to like and subscribe to me right now. That way you'll be notified when that next video pops. And I think anymore you have to hit a bell here on YouTube to get those notifications, but I'm still learning as I go along. Guys, this has been Patriot Prime. I appreciate you watching. Hoo-ah! Gotta make sure I get them in the right order. Remove Spasma. Are you shitting me?